boxing, beats and rhymes. No one can do it better.
Josh PADLEY, part-time electrician, a 9-1 underdog, won a unanimous decision over the undefeated Mark Chamberlain from Portsmouth. The scores were 95-93, 96-92 twice, in favour of PADLEY in a 10-rounder, which set the trend for the upsets to follow. Mark Chamberlain, said to be Turki Al-Sheikh's favourite fighter, signed to Frank Warren's Queensberry after winning 2 fights on the bounce on Riyadh season, the first against Gavin Gwynn, the second of which against Wahab, 2 stoppages. The 25-year-old found himself on the canvas in the 8th round from a combination culminating in a hook from the backhand and a left hook, depositing Chamberlain onto the canvas. He got back up. PADLEY just wouldn't be bullied by Chamberlain, and in the 9th, Chamberlain, obviously frustrated in his inability to get a grip and dominate the underdog PADLEY, he was deducted a point for roughhousing with the forearm, and PADLEY won a UD. Chamberlain falls to 16-1-0 with 12 inside the distance. PADLEY is now 15-0 with 4 inside the distance. PADLEY, a part-time electrician, fighting on, for the most part, small hall cards, had 12 weeks' notice for this fight. Took the last 8 weeks off work to have a full training camp. Chamberlain himself was a plasterer before his appearances on Riyadh season, making life-changing money, able to commit to being a professional full-time and make a name for himself. It's not a major blip. It was a competitive fight, and he'll be back. And Josh PADLEY, he'll certainly be back.
Either to love it, the underdogs on top.
Dan Raphael informed us that if Mark Chamberlain had won, he would have been in line for a shot at Denis Berinchyk, the WBO 135-pound champion, on the undercard of Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk on the 21st of December. Them plans are on hold right now.
Boxing, beats and rhymes. No one can do it better.
ISHMAEL Davis falls to 13-1 with 6 inside the distance. Josh Kelly is now 16-1-1 with 8 inside the distance. You can almost guarantee a stinker when Josh Kelly fights. For him to say he was bemused by the scorecards, that he felt there was no way he could lose. If it wasn't for ISHMAEL Davis engaging and trying to make a fight, there wouldn't have been a fight in there. I didn't score it, but ISHMAEL could have got a draw for his late round or second half fight rally. Kelly ended the fight with his face cut up around his eyes, nose busted up, basically fighting for survival. And he got a narrow majority decision. ISHMAEL will be gutted that he didn't get going earlier. But let's just say this. I remember ISHMAEL's moments when he hurt Kelly in the last, and when he did assert himself and put pressure on Kelly, but I remember nothing of what Kelly did, except throwing a few shots and then posing around the ring, smiling, and then in the 11th when he was cut and under pressure, looking at the clock, trying to run out the clock from the 11th round.
Boxing, beats and rhymes. No one can do it better.
Joshua BUATSI, 31 years of age, 19-0, no defeats, no draws, 13 inside the distance. No doubt spurred on by the boos by what are, I'm assuming, Willie Hutchinson fans at the open workout in London, and BUATSI's a London lad. He took a split decision over Willie Hutchinson, 26 years of age, 18-0, 13 via the short route from Scotland. Willie previously upset the huge favourite Craig Richards, another South Londoner, who Joshua had previously outpointed in 2022. Willie, an erratic type performer, likes to throw punches from unorthodox angles and fights in spurts. Got fast hands and has ability, but perhaps doesn't respond to pressure as well as he needs to. Was floored from a body attack in the 6th round. In the 7th, he was deducted a point for misuse of the head in one of his best periods of the fight when he was landing punches and kind of threw the initiative away. Then in the 9th, another body attack, a left hook to the solar plexus, had him down on the floor. He did finish strong in the 12th, but he no way warranted the 115-110 card from the Polish judge, who needs to be investigated. But the right man won, split decision win for Joshua BUATSI. He kept the pressure on, hurt Willie far more than he hurt him. No way with the 2 knockdowns and a deduction you can come up with a split decision without being investigated. I don't understand it. BUATSI is now the WBO light heavyweight interim champion. He and Ben Shalom can now target the winner out of Beterbiev and Bivol. But it's the usual assessments. He's got to be more active, he's got to be more busy. But congrats on the win. Very workmanlike. Not spectacular, but effective. Willie needs to get rid of the turning away from his opponent with his hands down and the bad impersonations watching American boxing, or perhaps Winkerbank fighters from the UK. Get his gas tank and conditioning in order before he can think of going any further.
Boxing beats and rhymes. No one can do it better.
Scorecards were a lot wider than I expected. Unanimous decision to Anthony CACACE. IBF title wasn't on the line. The IBO title was on the line, however. Now, he was considerably bigger than Josh Warrington, coming up from featherweight, two-time IBF champion. Josh had the faster hands, and he was surprisingly strong in there. The body attacks were giving CACACE all types of issues. CACACE, however, scored very well with that right uppercut. What was surprising was how Josh took them punches. And I think him moving up as well, because he's 33 years of age. CACACE's 35, so neither of them were spring chickens. Warrington was probably due a move up to super feather, and like the way he took the punches, you have to assume that not having to make that weight cut to 126 helped him absorb them punches, because some of them were flush and Warrington ate them all through the fight. Warrington, who brought 10,000 fans to Wembley Stadium, is a promoter's dream, and he's really in a bad fight. The fight was competitive, I guess you could argue, but did Warrington take enough rounds? And that's why the cards were so wide. Good fight, however. CACACE complained about Warrington's head after. Not unusual in a Josh Warrington fight. CACACE was cut over his eye. There was a cut at the back of his head. Very tough battle, but CACACE retained his IBF title, although it wasn't on the line. If he had lost, it would have went vacant. Warrington made a gesture of leaving his gloves in the ring, which most people who saw him do it, they took it as he's retiring. I did see a video, though, when he said it was too early, so we'll see what he does. CACACE was talking about a potential fight with Lomachenko, moving up to 135. He doesn't beat Lomachenko. He's had a great year, winning the super featherweight title from Joe Cordina via the IBF, and then defeating Josh Warrington. He didn't use that jab enough. He blamed a wet canvas for why he didn't want to hold the ring center. And you did see fighters slipping on the canvas throughout the card, complaining about the canvas. But that's why Josh was able to get up on CACACE's chest like that. There was no jab to keep him out.
Boxing beats and rhymes. No one can do it better.
I picked Tyler Denny to beat HAMZA SHEERAZ. Now, I know Denny can't punch nowhere near as hard as SHEERAZ, and he's nowhere near as dangerous. But on good authority, I know HAMZA SHEERAZ is struggling to make 160. He's not a kid. He's 6'3". He's 25 years of age. All wins, no defeats, no draws. 21 fights, 17 inside the distance. Tyler Denny, 33 years of age, 19, 3-3 with only one knockout. Added to that, Tyler Denny is a really good fighter. But HAMZA SHEERAZ has special power. And that's why Johnny Beck didn't take the fight.
Before this fight with Tyler Denny was made, the offer was made to Janibek Al-Maknouli, who is the unified IBF and WBO champion, to defend the title against SHEERAZ on this card. They offered him well over $1 million. They turned it down, and now Janibek is on his way to Australia to fight for like 200 grand or something like that against Mikhailovich. So that was kind of a bad mistake on their part.
Denny wanted to weave underneath that jab, bob and weave underneath the jab, and show us what he could do. Get close up on SHEERAZ, outwork him. But before he got untracked, a left hook, it was two left hooks, the second of which put him on the canvas. Didn't seem like he put any back lift behind it. It was a short shot. But I believe there was a backhand, a right hand that hit the gloves that hurt Denny before that, because he just started retreating. He backed up. SHEERAZ doesn't need a lot of leverage on them shots to put you in trouble. We saw that against Liam Williams. I know Liam Williams was shot, but Tyler Denny weren't shot. I think if SHEERAZ wanted to end it first round, he could have done. In the second, Tyler tried his best. He was coming back with his little shoe shine combinations, trying to put his punches together. But there was a left hook to the body that visibly hurt him. and he retreated to the ropes, and then the last punch that finished it was a left hook to the head. He was down and the referee waved it off. It was as easy as that. Perhaps the performance of the evening, if we're just talking about execution, not the amount of newspaper headlines it's going to get. There's SHEERAZ, and there's the rest of the middleweights around the world or in Britain. If Chris Eubank fancies his chance, he's right there. If Liam Smith is saying the virus kept him out, well, when you're better, he's right there. Josh Kelly and Adam Booth are talking about their aspirations to become players at 160. He's right there. But none of them are going to take that fight. I still have the reservation about him making 160. Destructive, clinical, and all of that.
Boxing. Beats and rhymes. No one can do it better.
The power balance swung in Daniel Dubois' favour early in the first round when AJ missed with that big swing. Dubois tried to counter. He missed with a big right himself. AJ, because he threw his first, he had enough time to reset, adjust, and prepare to defend. Or better yet, attack. He was a little lax and casual with his approach. Daniel had time to reset back into his stance, come over the top with a right hand, and catch AJ and put him down. AJ was too right hand happy from the first round, like he needed to end the fight in the first. And I guess that could be carryover from getting the one-sided stoppage over Wallin and blowing out Ngannou, landing every right hand he threw, literally. Dubois, good jab, but AJ landed jabs too. I was impressed from the first round with Dubois. Even when AJ was getting a jab off, he was using his footwork, knowing that he's going to be outreached, that, okay, I'll catch a jab, but you're not going to be able to land the right hand off the jab. I was impressed with Dubois. The referee warned him twice about use of the head, but Daniel snitched on himself beforehand, saying he's going to use the headbutt. So the referee was on him straight away. 2 warnings in the first round. Daniel makes a huge statement. 10-8 round.
Look at that. That's a fight ender right there. Look at Joshua stepping back with his hands down. Is that because he was hurt so early in the round and was still getting himself back together?
The first round is relatively competitive despite the hype. AJ is landing jabs. He landed that right uppercut. And he's standing and banging with Dubois, not looking his best. But the second round and the third, the amount of times he got caught with lefts and right hands, going backwards with his hands down. Like, I'm going to assume the low left hand was concocted in training to lure Dubois in for the counter. You didn't have to lure Dubois in. He's coming in anyway. No need to really set the trap up. It's only AJ just wasn't responding to Dubois' aggression. He looked like a fish out of water. It all went wrong. There was even one sequence where AJ threw a body jab and he got countered with the right hand. He was reckless, like Ben Davison said. He needed to straighten out his right hand, but he chose to hook, loop, and with Daniel's piston-like jab, he was getting outboxed, actually. He was getting outboxed. Then came that right hand, left hook combination that just buckled his legs just before the third and put him down. Once again, his hands way down by his side. Dubois was just too good. He was countering AJ, rolling under his shots and hammering him. It was just too good. Then he got caught early at the start of round 4, went down, got back up, went down again. One was ruled a slip. And then he done the thing where he started touching his chest and he was talking to Dubois, sticking his tongue out, and just got beaten up for the round. He presented Dubois his stool to sit down at the end of the 5th. The Dubois was breathing hard, but AJ couldn't take advantage of it. His legs were gone.
Listen, don't bring him back into the fight. Don't let him, go back to your boxing now.
Don Charles, sensing that the adrenaline that's been surging through Daniel for the first 4 rounds is wearing off. He's feeling the pace. He's put in a lot of work. AJ, say what you want. He hasn't quit, hasn't tried to quit. That's not his style, but he's taken a beating. But has he taken the best of what Dubois can offer? We're going to the 5th. AJ still unsteady on his legs, as he's been throughout most of the fight. Lands that right hand, and Dubois shaken. He goes back to the ropes, and the irony is the way it ends. Daniel Dubois has got the best of the countering all through the fight. Friday, we was chopping up and breaking down the fight on a hangout. Somebody said that Triple D has to counter AJ. Daniel, big up Daniel. He said he's got to counter Anthony Joshua. And I said, yes, that's what he's got to do. They're saying, what are you talking about? He can't counter AJ. I said, he countered Hrgovic. He's got to counter AJ. The mistakes that AJ made through all the fight and the things that Dubois did well through all the fight all came into play at the end of the fight. AJ went for this big, either right hook or it could have been a left hook. It didn't get there in time to tell us what kind of punch it was going to be. All through the fight, AJ was swinging these big, wide punches. Hooking with the hooker is the term I was looking for. But AJ yet again loaded up with this big shot and got countered. End of the fight, and that's that. And still, Daniel Dubois. Basically, AJ's more British, upright style of boxing, and that's what he was putting out there, just wasn't good enough for the more American-styled, tuck your chin in, keep your hands high, bang to the body, and come up and hook to the head. Daniel fought like the prototype American style. For those who don't know, the American style is based on aggression, hooking. The British style is upright, straight left jab. In saying that, AJ's jab was let down by his lack of ability to bring it back to his head and protect himself. AJ couldn't live with Dubois' aggression. I do believe he could box better in a rematch, and there is a rematch clause. I'm just not sure how much this fight has damaged him. Eddie Hearn, he wants the rematch. He would do. He's the promoter. He doesn't have to take the punches. AJ's not going to want to be seen as a coward or ducking the smoke. He's going to go straight in. And there are adjustments he can make, and he can win that fight. But the smart money will be on Dubois. At 35, and adjusting his style from Tony Sims, McCracken, Angel Hernandez, Robert Garcia, Derek James, and now Ben Davison, there's not enough time between now and whenever the rematch is for AJ to learn how to fight inside. But if he does take the rematch, win, lose or draw, I believe he can box a lot better than that. He boxed a terrible fight. It was a total nightmare. Just from a technical standpoint, a total nightmare. Dubois seemed to have quicker feet in there, whether he was moving in or trying to stay out of range of catching the full impact of the jab. And I have to ask myself, like, AJ backing off like that with his hands down, would he just have been better off holding his hands up, tucking his elbow in to ward off the body shots and fighting Dubois inside? I think he would have been safer there than letting Dubois walk him down, developing a head full of steam, just throwing bombs at him. He didn't really test Dubois' strength in there, and I don't think he knew how to. Not that he physically couldn't, I just don't think he knew how to. But Dubois is that guy right now. Dubois, best heavyweight in Britain right now, on current form? I'd say yeah. Although, there won't be a shortage of heavyweights who will want to crack at Dubois, because defensively, even with the improvements he's shown, he's susceptible to the uppercut and the right hand. If you can box Dubois and fight him inside, just like any other fighter, there's weaknesses that can be exploited. There's a lot of heavyweights who could take a way better shot than what AJ displayed last night. Dubois was assisted by that. But who knows? In saying that, after this victory here, he could bring more tools to the toolbox and be even better. Perhaps hold on to the title and upset a few more people. I'm sure he'd like to get another shot at Usyk if Usyk can beat Tyson Fury. I mean, that would be huge. I big up AJ for all he's accomplished and going out on his shield, despite what some people are saying. He didn't quit. And up till the last throw of the dice, he was still in the fight, looking like he could possibly score a stoppage. But Daniel upset a lot of people in there tonight, maybe even his own promoter. Tyson Fury said, "This has cost me $150 million post-fight." From the media content day last Monday, press conference, open media workout and weigh-in, Daniel was introduced first like he was the challenger on all of them events. On fight night, he came out first like he was the challenger, not dissimilar to Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes, where Larry came out first like he was the challenger, though he was the champion. Frank is an old wallflower. If Frank thinks his fighter is getting shortchanged and played in the promotion, he'd say something. But Frank didn't say anything when Daniel came out first to all the media events last week. He didn't say anything. So yeah, he upset a lot of plans. Potential Tyson Fury fight. If Usyk was to win, the opportunity for AJ to go for undisputed. If AJ could have got past Daniel. But One thing we know for sure is boxing ain't fixed, because if it was, Daniel wouldn't have came out with his belt. It's not fixed. And Daniel didn't bitch or moan or cry about none of that. He went to Wembley Stadium, not to play favourites or miss the popularity, but to knock off Anthony Joshua. And he done a grand job.
Hated to love it, the underdogs on top.